My website and shop launch is less than 3 weeks away. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Patricia, I'm an artist and illustrator, and yeah, I'm launching my website very soon. So I decided to finally set up a date to launch my website, and I'm a little bit nervous, but if everything goes well, this, my first goal of the year, is gonna be completed. I can't believe it. It's not going to be fully complete, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it, but I've only had 2 goals this year, so having this one a little bit off my chest is a big deal because I've been actually thinking about it for a while. Before I dive into anything, in this video, what I'm going to tell you a little bit is I'm going to maybe try to work in my shop and show you a little bit about it. I'm not sure, maybe we'll be more chatty. And with it, I want to tell you about my experiences with Squarespace as a first-time user using Squarespace. How it was the experience of changing my website, if it's hard, you know, things that I've encountered basically, how it's going so far. I'm also going to talk about why I'm setting a date for my website and shop launch. So, as I was telling you, I've only had 2 goals this year, and you can see more about this in a video I made about my goals that I will link wherever you link these things. And basically one of them was moving my website. I had already done the research that I wanted to do it in Squarespace by the time I recorded that video. So I had taken that off my chest. I did an extensive website research like Squarespace, Shopify. Basically, my intention is improve the look overall of my website, make it look more professional, make it faster, because right now it was very slow. You know, faster, better, basically will look more professional. But mainly, I was also thinking about focusing a lot on my shop these days, because until now, I've been mainly focusing it on my blog. That's kind of not the route I'm going for anymore. And lately, I've been enjoying creating products of my own, and I've been kind of discovering the little joy of designing certain things, which I've been doing for a few years now, but mostly for conventions and physical events. So a few years back, I was also focusing a lot on my Etsy shop, kind of full-time, and when it was going a little bit better, it got closed. I tell a lot more about that in a video separately, but yeah, lately I've been kind of going back into it a little bit, and I've enjoyed designing my own things more than just fan art and things like that. So I want to put the focus on that. I am going to sell some fan art, but I don't want that to be my main focus on my website. As I'm saying, this launch is not going to be that my goal is going to be fully complete, because I have so many products. I don't even know how many, but I have a lot of products because, as I said, I've been going to conventions for quite a bit. I don't have them all photographed. I do have a stock of them, obviously, but I don't have them ready to go in my website. So I've had done an initial photo shoot to get some of my products up in my website. I've done some new products that I also photographed, but I couldn't do all of them, and I knew I couldn't. I wasn't going to be unrealistic about that. I knew that my website launch initially wouldn't have all my products. Like, a part of me was hoping that I could have more time to do that, but I knew I wouldn't. So when I'm saying that it's not fully complete, it's mainly that, like, it's not gonna have all of my products. I don't know why I haven't thought about this type of shop launch thing before, because honestly, I feel like it's a better idea. Like, right now, I'm gonna launch my website with a shop launch with some items, and then I'm gonna bulk do a bunch more, and in a while I'll do another shop launch. And this is actually clever because it kind of helps me promote it and give me more time, you know, to do things in the back burner. For example, I was thinking that I could do some bundles with things that I don't mean to produce anymore, or just maybe produce a few for, you know, in-person events. But maybe I could do little bundles with some of these things, because some of them I have leftovers of, and I'll have more time to think about these things and do it if I do it in like shop launches. I don't know, I didn't know why I didn't think about that before, but yeah. Okay, let's start a little bit with my story with my website, all of the changes that I've done so far. I want to give you this background just so you can understand that when I changed to Squarespace, I was not a newbie, and that can affect if you are. But if you want to skip all the, you know, details here, I will have a timeline down below. But I personally like to see, you know, when people tell their stories about things. So if you want to stick around, well, grab you a cup of tea. So I've had a website before. I've had it for between 6 and 8 years. I haven't checked, but I think it's somewhere around that. Initially, when I started my website, I started it as a blog. I was about to finish college, and I was seeing how I could monetize my work and my career as an artist. I began reading about blogs and art advice and all of that, and I thought that would be a good way. The thing with this was that initially I thought about it like as a separate project type of thing, and I gave it a name. I don't even remember the name right now. I thought about it as a different brand, which could work. And I thought about that long and hard, but after a couple of years, I realized that it didn't make sense for me to have pay for another domain and another website when I was already bringing in the traffic to the blog, because I did for a while all that work about learning how to make good blog posts that could position. Some of them did, some of them didn't, obviously, but I was already gaining some traffic that you do. Like after a year or so, Google starts to trust you and knows that there's some content there that could be useful. That's when I noticed, look, I need a proper website portfolio for my things. And I was also starting to think that it would be good to have a shop too in my website, even if I had Etsy, just in case, because I knew all of these people talking about having a second part, just in case Etsy, you know, had its things. That's when I finally changed to look a little bit more professional. I had already dipped my toes on the blog part. I already knew how to make that work. I learned all about WordPress, so I was feeling a lot more confident. And I thought, okay, I read a lot of blog posts about positioning the website and all of that, and I researched and I bought a professional theme so my WordPress will look better, that was flexible enough for me to twinkle with it. I decided to invest a little bit more. I switched my hosting because that's actually when it expired and it was getting much more expensive. And yeah, I decided to take that advance, switch the hosting and switch the website. It was a mess. It took me so much longer than I expected. It was a lot of work. A lot of my articles are still in drafts after that because I wanted to review them all and I didn't. And I just reviewed a bunch of them, like half of them or more probably. It was a lot of work. It was crazy amount of work because I had to figure out all of how this new theme worked, how this modifying things worked. And for a while I've been very proud of the website that I done with that. I think I have some screen caps that I will put to show you. But with the years, I've noticed that this is slow, the shop is slow, I don't like uploading products to WordPress, the website doesn't look nice enough. Ever since a year after I did all of these changes, I've been thinking about, moving to something better, but I just didn't think I could afford the investment back then, because even though some of my blog posts were badly positioned, I've never made money, not real money. I've made some affiliate sales here and there. I've had some clicks in some of the Skillshare ads and things like that. I don't think that has paid for a year of my website in all of these years. If I at least was making some money for my shop, but how will I invest in a website if I'm not getting anything out of it? But as you might know from previous videos, I do have a full-time job right now that is basically sustaining everything. But I don't want to leave all of this art side. I don't want to leave my art business. In fact, I'm trying to invest in it because first, I don't know if I'm going to work forever here or in another part. And second, I actually want to do this for a living. I want to have my own shop, work for my illustration career. So I want to keep making efforts to improve. And now that I can put a little money into it, which I honestly made some calculus, and I'm not spending all that much more than I did before, and at least it looks much better. I realized that even though some of the blog posts were positioning well, it was not bringing me a lot, as an artist. I enjoyed the blog part a lot. I enjoyed writing those articles, but I don't feel like the time investment that I was putting in was getting me along in my art career. We're moving on. Why am I setting a date? I've actually been working on the website, on the new website, for about a month. First of all, I tried the trial that is free and you can twinkle with it for those 14 days. And then if you want to continue twinkling it and upgrade it and upload it, you have to upgrade the theme. So at the beginning of the month, I paid for the yearly fee and I started transferring my domain officially from WordPress to Squarespace. I'm basically doing this for a few reasons. The main one is to put pressure on myself. I feel, and I've done this before, sometimes it has worked, sometimes it hasn't, that if I tell you guys, even if no one is watching, hey, I'm launching my website in less than 3 weeks on the 6th of June, then maybe I will put pressure on myself to do it. But then I also thought, I want to promote this. I don't want to launch my website and just appear that day and say, my website is up. check it out. I kind of want to do a little thing going up to it, like a little campaign, which is how we all should do it. We just don't have the time or the patience, let's be honest. Yeah, I want to be able to post, I don't know if a daily video or a daily post, maybe at least not daily until it's just a couple of weeks left, but I want to post a little video like, hey, my website launch is coming, here's what it will have. If I don't have a date, I can't do that, because it doesn't make sense to say, hey, I'm launching my new website. When? Whenever I can. Those two are the main reasons, to be honest. Basically, these reasons also make me stop trying to overthink every little detail of my website, because it's happened, and it happens all the time. And then the last reason is that as I transfer my domain, which honestly I didn't think too much about it at the beginning, I thought, well, I'm just going to do it because I will have to pay the yearly fee like in the middle of the month. I was like, I'm going to do it before that. And I didn't think too far ahead that my previous website will be completely unavailable. I did download security copies and things like that. For a moment, I wasn't fully sure what will happen once the domain transfer. Right now, my website, if you access it, is unavailable. I'm not 100% about how Google indexes things. I know that if you are positioned somehow well in some blog posts and things and pages, if suddenly when you click on that, the link is empty, they're going to start noticing. So I don't want it to go too long. And this has already been going on for like a couple of weeks. So I don't want to go over a month of my website being unavailable, just in case it impacts everything else, which it might anyway. In this part, I'm going to tell you a little bit of my first impressions of Squarespace. Mainly, they've been positive, but I'm just going to quickly talk you through it. I've seen videos when I was looking for feedback about Squarespace and Shopify before, that Squarespace is easy, is so easy that sometimes it's hard. And I know that sounds weird, but basically what these videos said is that sometimes Squarespace is really easy because you can change things, drag and drop type of things, and that makes it really, really easy and really easy to change things and personalize things. But there's been things that I've found quite hard to change sometimes or to find. It's also true that I've basically been like, I jumped into it and I didn't look into any tutorials or anything, because I basically never do in these things because I can't figure out things on my own. I know what she meant, because it's like everything is easy, but at the same time, some of the most obvious things are kind of hidden. You end up finding them. Just to give you a bit of an example, the other day I was trying to set up my shipping profiles whenever I will ship products, because I think any place that I've used so far, you could like set up the shipping, I don't know how to call it, prices in some part and then apply it to the products. And I think it's the same way in Squarespace, but I was looking for like below the shop part or inside the shop menu with the different options, the products and all, to have a little part that they will say shipping options or shipping whatever. Nothing like that. Nothing. So I started uploading some products just to see how they will look in the product page. You know, the aesthetics, I'm still kind of figuring all of that out. And then inside the product, I saw this little thing like set up the shipping profiles, whatever. It didn't say it like that, but you understand. And I was like, okay, so it's inside the product. It should have been outside because it's a general thing. Like, it's not, I'm going to set up the shipping for this product and I'm going to set up the shipping for the other one. And I believe that that's going to take you to set up a shipping profile that you can later use in several products, which is as it works in any other page. But I found it very counterintuitive initially to do it like that. So I understand what this person said, and I agree. I agree with some things that like sometimes it was super easy at first to just start jumping in, doing things, changing things. It was super easy. But at the same time, there are times that you can't find things. And it will like when you find them, you feel a little dumb, but it's not dumb. They're kind of hidden. Overall, I'm really happy. I remember the last time that I changed the website, if you skip that part, but it was messy. It was very complicated and weird. Even though I could make a copy of my WordPress and transfer it, it was still weird. And I bought a new theme. I had to set it up. It took a lot of work. It took over a month's work. Now in these couple of weeks, I've only been able to do these things like for a couple of hours every so and so day. So that's why it's been so slow. But honestly, if I could just sit down for a week to do it, I will have my website. It is much simpler than it was with WordPress and all of that. And that, I give it to it. It was also very simple to transfer the domain and some of the, for example, I copied my blog posts and I transferred it to the website. I Googled it, and I think I found a Squarespace article too. So I did follow some instructions, but it was super easy to do. Like, it obviously depends on how tech savvy you are, and maybe if you've done these things before, you know better where to look. But to be honest, for me, first it looked a little tricky, but once I found how it was, it did it automatically. And then when I found the blog posts, they were all set up, all the images on, everything kind of perfect. I have to double check them all because I've only checked a couple of them, because that was the part that was worrying me the most. I wasn't so worried about the rest of the images for the shop and for everything else and for the portfolio, because I actually kind of wanted to change the look of my shop. You know, take the photos again of some things, maybe of some others, no, but give a little bit more of a more professional, more cohesive look to this website. And there are a lot of things that I still have to learn about Squarespace. But my initial impressions have been that it's been easy. Despite all of this that I said about some things are being more complicated than they probably need to be, I still think that it comes out from a place of they need to make it so simple looking, so clean looking, that sometimes it's not in the place you will look at it logically. I don't know if you come to Squarespace from nothing, not out of the website, just not knowing anything at all, if it will be easier or worse. I have no idea. So I know this is a very brief review, but I'm not a professional in these things. I'm just an artist, and if you're an artist like me, maybe this can kind of help you understand a little bit how it felt. So I'm going to tell you what's left of my website, and then I'm going to show it to you. Then there's another thing that I want to talk about really quickly, which is my limited product range and the shop launch. But first of all, let me tell you what's left of the website so far. So the thing that took the most work was the main page. You know, I just want to have a very nice, impactful first page. So I put a lot of work into it. I put my main focus into it. I haven't put that much work into the blog page because it's kind of secondary to me now. And I basically did what I said of importing it. I want to make sure that they are looking good. So I've checked a few and I've personalized a few things, but so far I think the blog is going to stay as it is. So I've mainly worked on that, and then on the easy things, which is the contact form and the shop. It's kind of like started because there's a lot to be done about the shop. What's left for me to do in these 3 weeks, and I don't know when this video is going to be launched, in these 3 weeks before the 6th of June, I need to do my shop and shop organizing. It's left to do the About Me section, which it's easy, but this time I want to put a little bit more effort into it. I want to enhance slightly what projects I've worked on before. You know, I've illustrated this book cover, this children's book, so it looks a little bit more professional and showcases a little bit more of what I can do as an illustrator, you know. And then I have left to do the portfolio, which is also easy because I mean, you don't add too much to a portfolio. What I usually do though is I have 2 sections for my portfolio, one for children's books illustration, which I don't have that much experience with, but I do have illustrations that are that look. So it doesn't fit in my normal portfolio. And then my normal portfolio just for illustrations and things that I like to do normally. After that, I have to make sure that I read the CEO for every page and set it up. And I'm kind of familiarized with all of this, but at the same time, it's kind of weird and a little bit different. So I need to set all of that up before I hit live. The main thing is the shop launch. Let's use this to swipe on to the limited products launch and the shop launch. The problem with my shop, and one tip that I'm going to give you right away, is that if you have no products or very few products, please, I beg of you, it will save you so much trouble later. Start doing an Excel spreadsheet. I know we all hate spreadsheets, but start at an Excel spreadsheet and some other software that you can use, Notion, whatever, to write down the stock of your products. Give them SKUs. I know it sounds weird right now, but give it to them, because later when you're trying to organize them in a shop, in any part, it's gonna be nightmare. I promise you, it's going to be a nightmare. I fell into that because the first time that I've actually had to written down stock, I already had products. I thought, I don't have that many products, and then I counted them, and there were probably about 100. You do have products. They pile up. It's really hard to keep track of everything. It's really bothersome to have to count stock one time and again and again and again. I know because I do it every time after a convention. If you just keep a stock, it will save you so much trouble. When I started to shop with my friend, I said, please, let's start a spreadsheet. It's gonna save us so much trouble, and it did. Because before a year happened, we already had like over 100 products. We organized ourselves, and still we had to reorganize things because it was messy. Like we had to change the SKUs and things like that to make it more organized. Just start. If you already have a spreadsheet, it's much easier to change things there than to start from scratch. I do have a spreadsheet with my products, but I do have new things that haven't been added, which aren't too many, and I have like the actualized stock in paper because I counted it down after coming from the Christmas market that I had. I am dreading it a little bit because I want to reorganize it a little bit better, give them SKUs because I've never given to them, not in here in my shop with my friend I have. Yeah, I need to redo all of that, and this is another thing why I don't mind doing this shop launch like a little more scaled down, because whenever I think about everything that I have in my drawers, in my cabinets, I start getting stressed. I've done a first initial photo shoot with a bunch of my products, especially my newer products, because I'm mostly excited about those. And that's what I'm gonna set up for this launch. A lot of these are limited edition, not because I'm not gonna do them again. What I mean basically is that a lot of these are handmade by me. I don't have a lot of time. So things like, for example, what I'm showing you here, like these, I just love this so much. Like these are handmade notebooks. I make them myself. I cut every page, I cut every ribbon, and I hand bind every of them. I paste them a nice inside cover. I sew every little page. You can imagine that this takes a little bit of time. And I also have like, this is new, I've never done this size before, but I love them so much. They look so good. I really like it. And things like this take me a while. In fact, I did these batch over Easter break because normally this just spends so much of my time, I can't keep up with it. I only have these for now because I didn't have time to do more. And another thing that I only have these ones, which is like 2-3 units of each, is my newest notepads. And I really like them too, but they take me a really long time to make because this is mushroom themed with different colors. This is the Bridgerton one, inspired one, but in pink. And then, am I missing something? No, I think I showed you all of them. The kind of cottagecore inspired and all of that. These I have like 2 or 3 units of each because I make them myself. So I also cut the pages and I paste them. And I like the process, but it's very time consuming. It's also very ink consuming and paper consuming. So if these sell well by any reason, I might consider ordering them. Not the notebooks, because a special part of them is just that I make them myself. There's things like that I will. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to restock them. I will, but I will only have a few products jumping into the launch. So if you're seeing anything of these that jumps to your attention, just know there's only a couple of units of each. Then another thing that I'm starting to do that I'm going to include to my launch is mouse mats. And I did this one the other day, extra big. Well, extra big for the sizes that I have. And I've done this corpse bride one. Looks really nice. I have pictures of it, I will show you. And these round ones. Now, these two is a new thing because I've just started sublimating. So I don't want to put too many units, although I think I have like 20 mouse mats, white mouse mats, because I'm scared that they are not going to turn out as good, that I cannot replicate the process as fast or whatever. So I'm only going to put like 5 of each. And if those sell out, then I might restock them. But I've only had like 1 made of each right now. And I don't want to make more just in case they don't sell. But if they sell, I want to do them like in small batches. For now, most times that I've done things, mouse mats are the things that I have messed up the less. I want to have backups just in case. That's why I want to put limited stock. Then there's other things that they're not as limited. I do have like stickers with special effects that I do have like about 50 of each. So they're not going to run out and I might order them again if they do. But yeah, for now, this is basically what you're gonna encounter in my shop. Like, a lot of the things that I'm showing you here are gonna go in my first launch. Everything, I think. And that's the point. I'm gonna launch these items, see how they do, and then I can relaunch other items, restock some of these items, things like that. Just see how it works, because it might happen, and I'm kind of expecting it, that I launch my shop and then nothing sells. So I don't want to overwork myself if nothing is gonna sell. I'd rather see if these items are something that resonates with people, to see in which direction to keep going, you know? Yeah, let me show you my website so far, just with a little commentary. So here's how my website is looking so far. I think just the first impression is much better than it was before. I have these banners here that basically show you different products of my shop that I think look nice enough. It took me a little bit to do. So yeah, there's basically those banners. Then down here, there's just a few of the best sellers. These things are just, these stickers sells a lot at conventions. Then a link to the portfolio with a big banner-like image. Some of my blog posts, a link to my YouTube channel, the sign up for my newsletter, which I need to actually redo too. I do have it active, I don't use it too much. Yeah, that's basically what it took me the most time. I know it doesn't look like much, but it does take time. Now for the shop, I'm still not sure if this is the look I'm going for. You're seeing succulents and plants here. This is because that was the template I was using. I've set up some of these categories, and I've set up some of the images just to see how they look. Nothing in these things are modified in the prices or anything, so just don't pay attention to that. I just wanted to see how they looked, because most of the newer photos from the newer sessions, they look a little bit better together, I feel. Then the portfolio is completely empty. The blog, as I said, is all imported. I created this just to have the categories all on hand, and these are the blog posts that have survived and they look nice, at least these ones that I've checked. I haven't checked every single one of them, but most of them look okay, and they have been imported from my other website, so there's quite a few. Then the About Me is empty too, and the contact is just very, very simple, as you can see. But I've made the form a little bit more complicated than usually, just basically having options like if you want to work with me, or you want to just contact me, or is something about my shop, whatever. So there's a little bit more to it there. And that's basically how it's looking. I don't know what do you guys think. If you have any, because it's not launched yet, so if you have any suggestions, because I mean, I'm not an expert on websites, so if you have any suggestions, just let me know. What do you think? But yeah, I do think it's a big improvement from my previous website. I think it's going to be a nice thing, and it works really smoothly. There are things, for example, that what I told you, like I've played with this button to take it off or move it. I could move it up or down, that would be okay, but I don't think I can make it bigger, or the letters bigger at least. Like, I could make the button bigger, but not the letters. So these are some of the things that I feel like Squarespace can be a little confusing about. But I'm not mad about it. I think it looks cute to have the shop button there in small. I guess it could just be the image clickable, but I think that just having the button makes it more clear that you can go to the shop by going there. So I was going to try and show you how I worked on my website and all of that to make this video a little bit more moved, but I don't know if it makes much sense, because basically seeing me sitting in the computer moving images doesn't really give you much. And I recorded quite a lot of footage of me talking to you about different things. So I think I'm going to leave it there, because I want to make this video somehow easy to edit, on time, to put on before the launch, and so you guys can know that this is coming, that these products are coming, just in case you're interested in anything. I'm super excited. I am liking the direction of this website. I think it's going to be a big improvement, but I would love to know your thoughts. Any feedback or any question that you have, you can always leave it down below. I'm always happy to answer. That's all for today. Thank you for coming to see how my first goal is almost complete, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!